Mark, it really gets you as a Red Sox fan to the Lackey and Carl Crawford signings, meaning that the amount of money they spent to go acquire other free agents who hadn't proven themselves in this city yet, despite whatever is on their resume, and overpaying those guys to bring them to town, and them to at least this point not living up to expectations. You know that they're a big market team. You know as a fan they get money to spend, and they'll spend it. But there isn't a bottomless pit. So when they start to play hardball with Papelbon, you wonder if the extra money or the extra mile that they went on guys like Crawford and Lackey and the hardball they'll play with Papelbon, I mean, you wonder the thinking in that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really overpaid on Crawford, but with Lackey, you will hear no dissent from me. I didn't like that contract from the moment it was first signed, and it's been even worse than I expected it to be.
Well, wait a minute. I got to take exception with something you just said there. Explain to me why you don't think they overpaid on Crawford.
Well, Crawford is probably the best defensive left fielder in baseball. He's a very good base runner, not just for stealing bases, but going first to third, second to home. He's a guy who's going to. Most of the Rays are like that. Joe Madden really pushes those guys to be great base runners. He does a lot of little things on top of the obvious things. And I know with the amount of money he's getting, it looks like he should be a guy hitting in the middle of the lineup somewhere. But since it's Boston, the bottom of their lineup looks like a lot of people's middle. So it's okay to put him there.
But Mark, what I'm going to argue with you a little bit is this, or debate, is I agree with you. Carl Crawford, I think, is one of the top 5 outfielders in baseball in any argument you want to get, and you could even put him higher in some arguments when you add up all the things that you just said, how good he is defensively, the little things he does, how he's a stolen base guy, and how he can hit anywhere in the lineup. And yeah, the fact that he's hitting down is a product of how good Boston is. But all that said, is he really a $20 million a year player for 7 years?
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of players are worth that kind of money.
Okay.
But I do think that if these contracts are going to exist, he would be one of the people I wouldn't mind giving it to.
Okay, well, and that's probably the logic the Red Sox use behind the scenes. But I guess if there's some common ground I'm looking to come to, it's no insult to say that he's overpaid. I think Carl Crawford is overpaid. He got what the market could bear. He's overpaid because the Red Sox gave him more because the contract that went to Jason Worth in Washington, who according to Peter Gammons and others was the guy the Red Sox wanted in the first place. But once Jason Worth got $126 million, you knew what the price was going to be for Crawford. I commend the Red Sox for being a big market team and wanting to spend that money what the market would bear. But again, none of that changes my mind that he's not worth $20 million a year, and that's no disrespect to him. More power to him. I just don't think, Adrian Gonzalez to me is worth $20 million a year. Carl Crawford is not.
It's kind of interesting that you could argue that Gonzalez is underpaid. And Crawford could actually be, a few million over, like it should be shifted over to Adrian.
Right. Again, the thing I think Red Sox fans, depending on how this year ends, let's say for the sake of argument it does not end in a World Series championship or they don't get to the World Series, which means, as you well know in Boston, all we'll do is question everything. So you get to the end of the year, Crawford, unless he really turns it on, and Lackey, unless he really, the vitriol is going to be pointing toward those two. And then if they don't sign Papelbon and they play hardball, they'll go out and get another closer, whether it's Broxton, somebody they've always wanted, whether it's Heath Bell, who I kind of like. They'll get another closer, or Daniel Bard becomes the closer and they'll get another setup guy. But all that said, Red Sox fans they'll start to point even more towards the money spent on those guys. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, whether it's merited or not, that's going to happen.